Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? This is Easy Things to Draw, and today I'm going to go over kind of how to draw Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat X version, because I had the other Scorpion before, but this one he's got kind of like a hoodie, and we're just going to draw it. We're not going to actually color it this time. I'm using a regular, essentially pencil. This is a Nero medium, but for the most part, I mean, you can just get a black colored pencil and it'll feel very similar, or even a charcoal. Ah! I dropped my keyboard over here. Anyways, forget that. I'm going to start with a circle. I'm going to do more like a portrait, like we're doing kind of Scorpion portrait. The reason I do this is because I think it's easier on the page right now, and I think it's fast and it works with this pencil better. Yeah, I think it works better. Hold on. My keyboard fell over and blew up my stuff. Okay. Anyways, so I'm going to start with kind of a circular, just a kind of oval, and that's kind of just to get the head shape in there. Let me see if this is on. Yeah, it's on the page. Finding kind of the brow line first. And I'm essentially kind of ghosting it in. If you don't know what ghosting it in is, check out the, check out the video. Sorry, the video on talking about ghosting, what that is. But I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. I'm gonna make sure his hoodie is wrapping around his head. You know what I mean? It's wrapping around. You have to remember, kind of like, this is what I say this over and over and over again. Think in 3D. The reason I think in 3D is because his hoodie's wrapping around his head. You have to kind of imagine how it would kind of wrap and kind of come behind his head and wrap around his skull. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of ghosting, like I said, ghosting this in. I'll go again right now. I'm gonna think about his hoodie, and there's a collar coming around the outside of his hoodie. I'm sorry if you can't see this that well, but you'll see it very well in a minute here. Neck, a little bit exposed. He's got this kind of like, almost like this Robin Hood stuff in the front here. And the hoodie ties it down, kind of, with this belt. Straps over it, and the hoodie kind of straps in with it. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about all of this stuff. Shoulder. And right now this is just kind of me proportioning out, you know, like just a head with a hoodie on it, and that's it. And I'm thinking about his mask right there. And that's kind of what you talk about for proportions, you know, proportions. The mask obviously goes over his nose and his lower mouth. You know what I mean? I might alter this hoodie. The hoodie comes right above. His eyes would be like here. It's kind of like in his forehead area, a little bit lower than his forehead. Like forehead's right here, maybe a little bit lower than his hairline, I would say. I'm using the side of my pencil at all times. I hope you guys remember that part. I always use the side because the side is easier to erase. It's just a lot easier to erase. Because I guess when you go down with this part of the pencil, it gets really hard and dug in there. And I'm just using it for that, but going in with these, trying to find the shadows first. The hoodie itself is gonna cast a shadow onto like halfway down the forehead. And if I went too fast in that first part, please let me know in the comments, and maybe I can do, like, I don't know, like an additional video for this. But it's pretty self-explanatory, you know, I think, with the skull part. I'm trying to teach you to draw more so Scorpion than a head, but the head helps as well. And Mortal Kombat X is really in shadow. I don't know if you noticed that. If you see the ads and things like in the gameplay itself, it's super in shadow. Everything has shadow on it, which I think makes it really good for kind of this fine art type of look, you know. The design, he's got kind of this almost shield thing going on in the middle. It's kind of this triangular form, almost like an arrow. At least with his first suit. I'm sure he has variations on it, but this is I'm just taking the general one that he has in the game. But he has this kind of like, I don't know what to say. Hopefully you can see this over here. If you separate that out, it's kind of like that shape. Almost looks like a cup or something for, you know, like when you work out. Let me look for an eraser. Okay, here I got my eraser here. It kind of has that shape in the center of his face. And then there's kind of a breathing apparatus down here with rivets opening. And then up here there's also other rivets, but not the same kind. And it is kind of open on the side here, and I believe that's so you can hear him talking, and I guess for breathing. And it has kind of a netting there. And I'm just putting that down as placeholders. That's not, you know, set in stone at all. You know, that's just a placeholder and that's it. Also, I'm keeping in mind with just like any other hoodie, well, a lot of hoodies, the seam is right here, and that's actually you can use the seam almost as a measuring device, you know, for the other side here. Kind of a fold toward the back because there's kind of a bagginess to the actual. No, sorry, I'm talking low. This is kind of bagginess to the actual hoodie itself. You know, it's kind of tucking in here, so it's kind of pulling. You see these striations. I'm gonna make another video on the cloth part. I made one, but I'm gonna make another one soon. So at this point, I think I have a decent amount to work with, and I'm probably gonna actually start going in and pushing the darks now. You know what I mean? And hopefully you can see it better. His eyes right here, just like any other eyes. I'm gonna draw those in, but I have to remember that they don't have any pupils. He has no pupils. Scorpion has no pupils at all. Putting in some darks here where he's kind of furrowing his brow. He's going to be angry because Scorpion's always angry. He's essentially the bad guy, right? He's always been kind of a bad guy. Not always, but he's more so a bad guy than Sub-Zero. I mean, Sub-Zero kind of killed him, right? Okay, so maybe, yeah, depending on what story, because they changed the story around. Can anybody remember, without Googling it, can anybody remember the name of the clan that Scorpion came from? I think the Sub-Zero came from the Lin Kuei, right? And I don't know what Scorpion came from. I'm not going to Google it. Don't Google it. Can you do it without Googling it? Can you write it down? Can you guess without Googling? Right here, into the eyeball. I'm just kind of putting this down like any other eye. Right here, going into this cast shadow, because the cast shadow goes downward. The nose furrows a little bit more here. Going into the other eye. Oops. Wanted to make sure it's still recording, because sometimes this thing shuts off midway. Side of his nose here, which is the top of the bridge of his nose. And I'm probably going to do what they did in the game, which is they kind of push everything into shadow on the far end, except for his eye. think that left eye is a little bit low. That works. Alrighty. I'm gonna throw that whole side into shadow except that top rim. Another furrow over here. Going the side of my pencil again. Going down a little bit darker. And using my eraser to carve out this edge over here because the edge wouldn't look like that. Alright. Putting a little bit of shadow over here on the lower portion of that top part of the mask. Finding that center line. Honestly, a lot of this is kind of just like a lot of like nudging here, you know, darkening there. It's at a certain point it becomes just a lot of cleanup. You know what I mean? So I'll kind of talk through this, so you can kind of see me do it, you know, real time as opposed to fast forwarding it. I like fast forwarding it too because that does, you know, help a lot. But I will talk through this a little bit. What can I talk about? I just started Fiverr.com. You know, go check that out. Find me on there if you can. That's about it, pretty much. I'm gonna start doing Twitch. I'm gonna actually start a Twitch soon. So I'll let you know about that. Because honestly, there's stuff in. Actually, I'll show it to you right now. It's a little preview on my Twitch. Where is this? Okay, so I got this. Let me show you real quick. Sorry, it's like, take a break for a second. I got this sketchbook here. See, I started it already. Oops. It is a sketchbook, but it's cool, right? It's like a sketchbook, but it's actually like this accordion thing. So I started it, and honestly, I only do this in my spare time, and I couldn't see myself making a video of me working on this because I just thought it'd be too, I don't know, too weird, too long of a video. So I'm going to do the front and back. So I'm going to actually do it on Twitch. You know, there's stuff like that I want to do on Twitch, you know. Stuff that I just don't think making a single video is worth it, you know. So, I mean, people that want to see it, you know, can go check it out. Anywho, I don't have a Twitch yet. But when I do, I'll let you guys know, you know. But yeah, sorry about that. That was weird, right? It was different. Like, a little break to talk to you about it. Because I'm pretty excited about it, so. I'm kind of just finding the sides of stuff, too. You know, it becomes kind of an exercise in terms of finding edges at some point. Again, just kind of repairing stuff over here on its mask. I put some of the darker, like the slight variations of dark over here toward the edges, and that's to kind of contain a lot of that stuff in the middle. But a lot of this is kind of, you know, what value is dark? You know, for example, this is in shadow, right? There's two shadows in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the lower shadow darker. And that's kind of what you do. You kind of like fight through, like, which one's going to be darker, you know? Do you want this one darker? And it's going to be like this pushing or pulling kind of thing. Like one goes forward, the other one goes back kind of thing, you know? So you're constantly kind of going through that. Here's another thing for you to think about. Okay, let's say we're not doing color, right? But his hoodie is black. You know, it's a black hoodie, right? Or dark, like real dark. I think it's black. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go very lightly with the side of my pencil over the whole thing. Same thing here. Can over here, but I'm gonna put some stuff down there anyway. Because I want this value to look lighter. You know what I mean? I want the value because that's a yellow that's a yellow mask, right? So I want that to look lighter. Look guys, I gotta fast forward this because it's gonna get too long. So I'm gonna fast forward and then I'm gonna talk to you about what I did, okay? So let's get into it. Throwing these rivets in there by hand and then kind of pulling out shapes, smaller shapes here, like just kind of throwing in a small shape right there to show that this is like a lock, you know what I mean? Not like a belt loop, things like that. There's a little bit more of the fine arty way to do it, for more portraity. I'll do another video if you guys want of the pure line art version. But so now what I'm dealing with is I want to put up some black, total black. And I'm going to do that more like down here. And kind of let it trail off over there. I don't want it to be totally black all around. I'm going to throw one over here. I'm going to let it trail off as well. Dark and then light, light, light as it hits these other segments. And then I'm going to take my eraser. This doesn't really work with this. It works more with charcoal pencil, but I was going to try to show those, what do you call that? That kind of netting with eraser, but it doesn't really work too well on this. Works better with charcoal. Put some dark over here. It's on definitely some dark and an accent point. And I definitely want dark here on the eyes. His eyes are the focal point, really, of the whole thing. Especially this one closer to us. over here. And then I'm going to throw another one right here, really dark, because that's really close to us. This side of the hoodie, gotta darken that. Darken that as well. And put some dark accent back there and a dark accent right here. Try to separate some of these things. Try to make it more readable. And I can do the same thing down here because there's rings on his chest. And again, I'm going to do more of a indication style where I'm going to throw darker shadows here, but I'm not going to like dig through every freaking shape, you know. I might go back with the eraser and try to carve it out with the eraser, but like I said, it's a little harder to do that. Every night I want to stand up and kind of look at it, you know, stand up, look back at it. It's a good idea, you know what I mean? Because you can see, I don't know, just it lets you see a lot of stuff more. Like as you step back from something. I also step up and I look through the camera to see it. But this is a very fine art-esque Scorpion. So, anyways, that's about it. That's kind of the fine art way of, you know, drawing Scorpion essentially. Kind of a Scorpion portrait. If you have any questions, please let me know below. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, if you have any advice. Also, I am going to put up more critique corner videos. I'm just trying to find people. I want to start grabbing like anybody, you know, like people that I know. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and you know, also share the video. You know, that really I feel really good when people do that. So, thanks a lot, guys. See ya.